In today's video, we are going to be talking about how you can afford to become a per diem nurse. If you're new here, I've been working as a per diem nurse since 2021, so 4 years now, and it's been my only job. So I've only have one per diem nursing job. So I also have many different videos of what I do. So I will link those videos up here. I'll put the playlist up for you guys. Before we get into the video, I want to do a little disclaimer because these things that I'm going to be mentioning in the video are obviously general advice. We all know that we all have different situations. Like, for example, myself, I am single, not married. I don't have kids. Obviously, everyone's situation is different, but I still think that these things that I'm going to talk about in this video are important and for you to consider prior to becoming a per diem nurse, because that's how you'll be able to actually figure out if you can afford to become a per diem nurse or not. Remember, you're going to have inconsistent paychecks, but it is possible to become a per diem nurse. So anyways, let's get into the video. First of all, the most important thing is that you create a budget. So before you go per diem, because as you know, if you were to become a per diem nurse, you are working based off of the availability that the department has. So if they need you, like if people take time off, something happens unexpectedly and they need more help in the unit, then that's when you'll come in to work. And the checks will be inconsistent. So this is why I say that it's important to take these steps prior to you even becoming a per diem nurse. So first things first, you must create a budget. I literally went through each thing that I pay monthly and I tracked it. I tracked my expenses and pretty much you have to plan for variability. Like I said, the per diem checks can be very inconsistent because you're working based off of the availability that is available for you. Does that make any sense? The availability that is available for you. I think so. Just like you're not working full-time hours. It's just whenever they need you. That sounds better. So you must prioritize, of course, making sure that you will be able to cover your monthly expenses. So that's very important. I literally just did it really old school and just like wrote it down on a piece of paper. Went through my bank account and saw like, okay, what am I paying for monthly? Like everything. And I tracked my expenses to see if I could even afford, working per diem because of the inconsistent paychecks. Now, the other thing that is very important, and I would have not went per diem if I did not have this. I would say if you don't already have an emergency fund, please, please, please build an emergency fund prior to you becoming a per diem nurse. And remember, I'm talking about being a per diem nurse as that's your only job. You don't have a full-time job, because a lot of nurses, they have a full-time job, nursing job, and then they decide to do like per diem as extra income. I'm not talking about that nurse. I'm talking about the nurse that will only be working per diem and doesn't have any part-time or full-time nursing job anywhere else. So build an emergency fund. I would say at least save minimum 3 to 6 months of your expenses as an emergency fund. So it's going to be there. I have an emergency fund and I actually have it in Marcus by Goldman Sachs. It's a bank. It's an online bank. So it is getting like monthly, I'm accruing interest on that account. So I really like it. I'll actually link that link for you guys. I feel like it's been about 2 years that I've been banking with them, and I really like them. It's very easy to like transfer money in and out of my account to my checking account. It's super easy, and like within a day or two the money's already transferred over. Like if I need to pull out from the emergency fund into my checking account, it's fairly quickly. At the beginning it was like 1 to 2 days. There's times where it will transfer over the same day. So that's the experience that I've had with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. online high yield savings account. I really like it. So I'll put my affiliate link down in the description box for you guys, as well as I'll pin it down in the comments for you if you want to check them out. Like I said, you'll get an additional 1%. And then I'll also get 1% myself. So anyways, the other thing is that you should maximize your income. So like I said, there's other nurses that they will work full-time and then just work per diem as like additional income. That's obviously an option. You can also do like multiple per diem jobs. Either you can be a per diem nurse at one facility and a per diem nurse at another facility. So you can do that. I know some like nurses will do 2 per diem jobs, 3 per diem jobs, just like if one facility doesn't need you, maybe the other facility needs you and you have like a backup, you know, because like I said, the paychecks can be inconsistent. So it would be good for you to have like multiple per diem jobs, which that is my goal, hopefully for this year, to have a second per diem nursing job. The other thing that you could do to maximize your income is work shift differentials. So like holidays, weekends, night shift, you know, they will pay extra. They'll give you differentials for that. And then of course, you should leverage your experience with your certifications, or even consider, like I said, a part-time job, then do per diem, or full-time do per diem, but try your best to like maximize your income. I've luckily been able to live off of this just one per diem nursing job, because sometimes I work like, there's sometimes where I was working like full-time hours. So it helps because when I do work those hours, then I save up money for the times when, like last October, I only worked like 4 days in the month, but that was just because my availability was not that great, because I had a busy month. So, but it didn't really bother me because I had money saved from the other months that I had already worked. I think I've maybe pulled from my emergency fund like once in the last 4 years. So I am very like, I try to really make sure that if I'm going to be working full-time hours, that money is going to go, you know, it's going to stay in my account to pay like next month's bills. So I try to be very conscientious of where I'm spending my money, which is where creating a budget comes in place. I am looking at my phone with all my notes here. So yeah, anyways, the other thing that a lot of nurses are concerned about when they consider working per diem, or maybe they don't even consider working per diem because of health insurance. Now, I'm going to make a whole video on that because I pay for my own health insurance, and I'll make a whole video on that. But you can seek either employer benefits. So at some jobs, if you have a part-time, you can get insurance through there, like health insurance through there. Or even like if you're married, you obviously can get also health insurance through your spouse. And the other option is if your parents, like if you're younger, I don't remember the age of whether it's 25 or 26, but you can still be on your parents' health insurance if they want to keep you on there. That's another option, but I'll share like a more in-depth video. But that's another way that you can afford to be a per diem nurse, because these are the type of things that you have to take into consideration, especially if you have like chronic diseases that you need medication for, or that you need like frequent doctor visits. You must think about these things. You will probably need health insurance. So like I said, some jobs, part-times, do offer per diem. You'll probably will not get any health insurance benefits. You may get a retirement account that you can contribute to, as well as them matching it, but it just depends. Some facilities do allow per diems to do that, and some don't. So it's something that you definitely have to ask your employer or your potential employer when you decide to start applying and interviewing for these type of jobs, the per diem jobs. And also, you must be really strategic with your time off. Now, as a per diem nurse, you don't get any PTO. You do get sick leave. Let me retract my words. Well, at least in California, we do get 40 hours of sick leave. I don't know how it is in other states, but in California, we do get 40 hours of sick leave that we can use even as per diem nurses. So that's a good benefit to have, because you never know. I mean, we all get sick. We all need to take time off if we're sick. We're not going to be going to work if we're sick. So with that being said, per diem nurses do not qualify to obtain PTO. So we're not going to be accruing PTO. So be very strategic with your time off. Because remember, as a per diem nurse, you can make your own schedule. So be strategic. And it also depends on how your facility, like how many hours your facility wants you to work in a pay period or in a month. It just depends. At my facility, from what I know, or at least from what I remember, they told me was 1 day a pay period, oh no, 1 day a week as a per diem nurse. That was what they wanted me to work. And some months, some weeks I work way more than that. Like I said, sometimes I would work part-time hours, full-time hours. It just depends on my availability, their availability. Definitely be strategic with your time off and save your money when you're actually working more hours so that you can take, time off and go on vacation, because it really all comes down to creating a budget, tracking your expenses, and making sure you're not spending more than what you are making. So it's something that you really need to consider. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. And now you know how you can afford to become a per diem nurse, because I know a lot of these things like the health insurance, the retirement, all that are things that are very important to people and sometimes will stop you from becoming a per diem nurse, but it is possible. It's definitely possible to do that. Like I said, I'll make a more in-depth video about health insurance, and I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys later.